Hi everyone, it's Ben Adams with the American Offset Mortgage, and welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you back. Last week we talked about student loans, and today we're going to continue that conversation. Now, as a reminder, give us a like and subscribe. We want to help teach, promote, educate financial literacy, budgeting, credit, talk about student loans, so all of you can live your very best financial lives. The reason that this is so important to me is because this isn't taught anywhere. And personal finance and how we look at budgeting and the financial lives that we lead, they can impact so many different areas of our lives, not just our finances and our budgeting, but they can impact our personal relationships, our mental health, our emotional health. So this really is so important. I want to help educate. I'm learning myself, but I want to share what I'm learning with everyone else. Now, the reason student loans are so important is because the cost of education has never been higher. And now in 2023, there really is a dilemma when it comes to higher education, financing higher education, and student loans. One really important question that we have to all ask ourselves and evaluate and look at in 2023 is this question right here. Will that college degree pay off? Now, when you're talking to older generations, it could be your parents, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, family members, mentors who are a little bit older. The prevailing theme from older generations is that you want to go to college. And a lot of times they don't understand how much the cost of college have increased over the years. Now, back when your parents or your grandparents or generations that were going to school in the 70s, 80s, 90s, there was an underlying theme that if you had a college degree, you could go get a great job and that it was worth it. And a college degree really meant something. And here today in 2023, some of that is still true. If you do get a college degree, that is important. It does mean something. But you just want to make sure that the degree that you're going to get is going to serve you and it's going to pay off. Now, I'm going to share some examples right now that are on the fringe, and these are examples of what not to do. One example, did you know that a 4-year college degree with an emphasis in philosophy at Oberlin College would cost a graduate over $142,000. $142,000 over 4 years to get a philosophy degree from Oberlin College. Now, that graduate, you're probably wondering, well, how much are they earning when they go out into the workforce? 2 years later, the survey and the data found that that same graduate who spent over $140,000 on their degree is only earning $18,000 2 years after graduation. That is something that you simply cannot do. And the crisis happens when you take out student loan debt to go finance that $140,000 and then you're only earning $18,000. That degree is not going to be pay off. Now, there's a question if that degree should even be offered. That's a whole nother conversation. Here's another example. A bachelor's degree from Syracuse for studio and fine arts will cost over $137,000. 2 years later, those same students are only earning $17,000. Again, an example of what not to do. I have a third example, and that is an anthropology degree from Ithaca College, which cost over $132,000 for a 4-year degree. And same thing, the data and the survey found that 2 years later, graduates are only earning between $20,000 to $25,000. Now, obviously, these are examples that are on the fringe. These are degrees that are not popular. These are in industries that are, not popular. But here's the thing, though. It's not just these fringe degrees. A lot of degrees that were once considered the norm and solid degrees, there's a question, are they going to be able to pay for themselves? The rhetoric from our political and our cultural leaders, and a lot of times even from our friends, from our family, from our parents, from our grandparents, is that you as the 18-year-old student or you as the recent high school graduate need to go to college. The question is, at what cost is that degree worth? And so here's the point. You have to be more intentional than ever. Your parents and your grandparents, well, they could go to school. A lot of times 18-year-olds aren't gonna have things figured out. They're not gonna know what their life plans are. They're not gonna have the life experience to, a lot of times, even know themselves or know what they want to do for the rest of their lives to build a career and earn a living. And it's not really fair to ask them of this, but now we have to put that responsibility on young folks where when they are going to school, they need to be more intentional. The days of, I'm gonna go to school and kind of figure things out while I'm at school, and I'm gonna take out some student loans, I'm gonna finance that, and I'm gonna, discover myself and discover what I like and what my passions are. Well, that's how your parents did it, that's how your grandparents did it, and it worked for them, but it does not work for the student or the prospective student in 2023 because the costs have gone up so much, and because the amount of student loan debt the individual will have to take out. I've seen so many times where an individual has taken out massive amounts of student loan debt without an intentional plan and focus because they're interested in something, and then all of a sudden, guess what? A couple years later, they're no longer interested in that, and a lot of times they may not even graduate, or they do graduate, and then they go into a field that has nothing to do with their degree. But here's the issue. All of that student loan debt, they have to pay back. And those student loan terms, which is what a whole nother topic that we are gonna talk about, a lot of times are not communicated clearly to the student when they take that debt out, or the student doesn't understand. And there are a lot of features with student loans that are incredibly toxic. Remember, the cost of education is increasing at a rate of over 8 times faster than wage income. You have to be intentional, you have to have a plan, and you have to be smart. Here's another one of the main concerns that I have when it comes to student loans and higher education. No one is advocating for the student. The student who is 18 years old, who doesn't have a lot of life experience, who doesn't have a lot of experience paying bills or taking out loans, who is representing them? No one. Everyone's telling them that they need to go to school. The credit and the student loans are too accessible, and no one is advocating for the student. So that is what we're going to touch on our next video, why student loan advocacy is so important and what it means to me. So join us next week for that. This is Ben Adams signing off.